In this video we're going to look at a couple of ways of dehydrating copper sulfate 5 water or copper sulfate pentahydrate crystals. In the one case we're going to dehydrate the crystals using the dehydration properties of concentrated sulfuric acid, and in the other the dehydration through thermal means by heating. The dehydration of copper sulfate 5H2O by heating, thermal decomposition, is one that can be used to look at moles calculations if it's done correctly. All you need to do is pre-weigh some copper sulfate in a tube, heat it strongly with a Bunsen flame until you drive off all the water. Notice that there is some water condensing on the cooler part of the boiling tube, so you will need to carefully manipulate using a test tube holder the end of the tube so that you can heat that as well to drive off the water as steam. On cooling you should be able to weigh, and by using the difference be able to work out the mass of water that's lost and perform your moles calculations. The reverse reaction is worth demonstrating to the students. Once the test tube is cool, add in some water. Instantly the blue coloration of the copper sulfate pentahydrate reappears, and there is an evolution of a large amount of heat. It's a highly exothermic reaction. In the reaction with concentrated sulfuric acid, we're simply putting the acid on contact with the crystals, and after a few moments you'll see that the blue color of the copper sulfate fades towards the white color of the anhydrous version of copper sulfate. And of course, when demonstrating, this is easier to see in comparison with some that hasn't been treated. Disposal is a little trickier than you might expect. Adding water to acid, to concentrated sulfuric acid, is not recommended. You should add the acid to water. The reason being is that the molecular structure of concentrated sulfuric acid, covalently bonded sulfuric acid, ionizes with the evolution of a large amount of heat energy to the H plus and HSO4 minus ion, and if the amount of water is very, very small, that can boil and potentially shoot the contents of the flask or test tube into your face. With concentrated sulfuric acid, always add acid to water and not vice versa.